Jalil here, Savage Reptiles. Thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe. My question for you is, has your female beardy laid a clutch of eggs without being paired with the male? If so, I'm going to explain why. So your female beardy laid eggs and she hasn't been paired with the male, and you're trying to figure out why. So if you didn't know, female bearded dragons, they can retain sperm from males that they were paired with previously. So if you have a female and you've had her for 3-4 years and she just randomly lays a clutch of eggs and you're like, oh crap, she's never been paired with the male, more than likely she has, and there's really nothing you can do. You go back?
This is the hang on your back.
There's really nothing you could do to prevent sperm retention. Once that happens, it's kind of just something that you're gonna have to deal with. Most people never plan to breed bearded dragons, so you really don't know about incubation and clutch time and vet checkups and stuff like that. So if your female does lay a clutch of eggs, I recommend taking them into a vet. More than likely they will care for them themselves. Jesus Christ, these nails are sharp. Yeah, there's nothing you can do, but that is something good to look out for when you have a female bearded dragon.
So why do they retain it?
Why do they retain the sperm?
Mm-hmm. Like how does that happen? I mean, is there age time frame? I mean, how many times is it? Because they obviously had to be bred to retain sperm, right?
Yeah.
It's done something.
Yeah. I wouldn't say age, because they can't even be bred until they're about 3 to 4 years old. So they'd have to be bred in between, I'd say, a minimum of 3 times to even have that sperm being able to be retained.
So 3 to 4 times.
Yep.
So it needs to be bred 3 to 4 times for it to retain sperm.
Yeah.
So if it only maybe hooked up with a fellow bearded dragon only once or twice,
yeah,
then it wouldn't retain it.
Nope.
But if it hooked up with it more than 3 times,
yeah, and it doesn't have to be the same male.
It doesn't have to be. So whatever,
No.
just in general,
general.
Gotcha. Yeah. So y'all, your bearded dragon got hit 3 times before it got to you. You might have some sperm in there, and if you randomly have some eggs, then you got to make sure you're questioning the environment that it's coming from.
And the crazy part about it is, if they have a clutch, there's a chance that it won't be just one clutch. So they could have multiple clutches. She could drop a clutch.
So is clutch like the term for like?
It's like dogs having babies. Yeah, it's like
it's like a litter. It's like having a litter of lizards.
Yeah,
a litter of lizards. Say that fast 3 times, y'all. A litter of lizards. Litter of lizards. Litter. Yeah, exactly. So you're having a clutch of litters. Yeah. Clutch of lizards. Excuse me.
Yeah. So that's the unfortunate thing about it.
So random clutches of lizards can occur if your female bearded dragon was paired with the male prior to you getting it.
Yep.
And it had, basically 3 or more intercourses with the fellow male.
Yep. That's the unfortunate thing about it, because it could either just be a one-time thing or it could be a reoccurrence, very frequent.
So you never know, you could have multiple clutches of lizards, aka beardeds.
Yep.
Yeah. That's crazy. And there's nothing you can do to prevent it. So if anything, how do they become more aware? What questions should they ask their breeders and stuff like that if that's where they're getting them? Or is that even a question they need to be asking, or something they need to be aware of when buying from a pet store like Petland or Petco or Pet Anywhere?
That's definitely something you should be aware of when buying from a pet store like Petland and PetSmart. Especially if you're buying an adult, I wouldn't ask the workers, because 9 times out of 10 they don't know how many times the animal has been bred or if it's ever been bred.
So is it safe to say you could assume that if you bought it from a pet store that more or less they've been in contact and potentially accidentally, and you say the term bred, but basically is it at the point if they just even have intercourse, right?
Yeah.
With another beardy, but they don't have to have a question. The sperm just remains retained.
Yep.
And the lizard.
Yep. Now, if you're going through a breeder, the question I would ask about a female, if she's an adult, is how many times she's been bred. If he says 3.
And what's classified as an adult?
They're adults at 2.
2 years old.
But you shouldn't breed them until they're about 3. And I'd even say 4 to be safe.
But like, so for example, if this was a female, because we know Jamal got this from PetSmart or Petco, one of the pet places.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, if this was a female, could she have semen retention?
Not at this size.
Not at this size.
No.
Okay, so there is
a bearded dragon this small should not be bred at all. This is this is a baby.
But mind you said there's been environments where they're all in the same.
They can't produce sperm at this size.
Okay, so they can't produce sperm at this size. Nope. So females can't retain sperm at this size. Mm-hmm. So at what point do they start, being able to retain sperm? Because accidental breeding happens, right? When it comes to dogs.
Yeah.
Dogs, they stay in the same kennel, and out of nowhere, at 1 year old, even though we know it's not safe to breed a female puppy at 1.
Yep, it happens.
It happened. It does happen, and I see it happen, to one of the whelpers. She's like, they bred this female Frenchie at 1 year old when they should have waited till she was at least 2, fully developed, all that kind of stuff, because technically
That's
1
crazy.
year old for a puppy for a dog is still a baby. So in this case, what is the age where they're considered adult?
I'd say they can retain sperm at about 1.
1.
Females can.
So about
Should
a year.
they? No. Gotcha. Can they? Yeah.
So definitely be aware of the age, because if you're getting it less than 1, then more or less you're probably not going to have to You're not going to have to worry about the semen retention.
Right.
But if they are more than a year old,
it's just something
something to be mindful of, and just that's where you would ask your breeder, like, hey, so what would be the question? Like,
how many times have they been bred? Or
I know there's, how old
are they? Have
they been bred?
Have your younger beardies been around older beardies?
Gotcha.
Yeah. So if you're buying a 1 year old from a breeder and they have been around older beardies that can breed and produce, that's a good question to ask your breeder. Ask them, have they been around older beardies? Because
then that's a potential if it's a younger beardie, aka a 1 year old beardie, and it's been around older beardies that are 2, 3, 4 years old who can produce. There's potential that just like dogs, an accidental breeding could happen.
Now, I mean, if you're going through Morph Market, like we mentioned before, to buy those beardies, especially the yearlings, and you ask that question, you're more than likely going to get a no, because most breeders on there are ethical enough to keep everything separate.
Gotcha. Okay. There you go, people. Well, if you have any other questions about semen retention, is there anything else that you know about semen retention in females, or when purchasing or buying a female beardie, just be sure you're aware. Ask those questions. Just expect if you get a female beardie from like Petland or Petco that's a year plus old, that there's potential that it might have some semen retention, and it might have a clutch of lizards. I almost said litters. A clutch of lizards sometime down the road, unexpectedly.
And it's easier to deal with one clutch, but like I said, it could be one, or it could be a natural reoccurrence where it's just happening all the time.
Yeah, and you don't want to be dealing with that, people. So
nope.
Stay tuned. Take care of reptiles. If you have any questions, drop down in the comments below. Please like, subscribe, and share. Savagery.
Savagery reptiles.
Reptiles coming at you.